Paris after dark, wine, lights, and just a bit of chaos. Let's get one thing straight. Paris at night isn't to the same city you meet in the daylight. Daytime Paris is polite, cultured, dripping with art history and elegance. But when the sun dips behind the Seine, oh, she puts on red lipstick in trouble. This is when the city of light turns into the city that flirts back. The monuments glow, the wine flows, and even the pigeons look like they're headed to an after-party. So grab a jacket, charge your phone, and maybe pack your dignity because we're about to take a wild stroll through Paris after dark. Golden hour. When Paris turns to gold, if you only have one night in Paris, start early. The golden hour here is pure cinematic perfection, the kind of light directors would sell their souls for. Head to the Pont Alexandre III, where the lamps turn amber, the Eiffel Tower starts teasing her sparkle, and couples pose like they're auditioning for a perfume ad. You'll see locals perched along the Seine, wine glasses in hand, unbothered and unhurried. It has that rare in-between moment where the city takes a deep breath before the chaos kicks in. Pro tip, grab a bottle of rose, a baguette, and some cheese, and just watch Paris slowly light up. Congratulations, you've already won the night and you didn't even need to enter a club. The Eiffel Tower glow up. Let's talk about the Eiffel Tower. You've seen it in a million photos, but nothing prepares you for seeing it sparkle in real life. Every hour on the hour, from dusk till midnight, she twinkles for 5 glorious minutes. And yes, everyone stops to stare. It's cheesy, it's touristy, it's magical as hell. For the best view, skip the crowds right underneath and head to Trocadero Square or the Champs de Mars lawns. That way you can get the glow and some breathing space. Or, if you're feeling fancy, book a cocktail at Les Ambers, a rooftop restaurant where the tower feels close enough to flirt with. Evening in Saint-Germain, where the nights are smooth and jazzy. If your idea of nightlife is dim lighting, jazz tunes, and intelligent chaos, Saint-Germain-des-Prés is your love language. This is where Paris gets classy with a wink. Step into Le Caveau de la Hachette, a legendary jazz club that's been swinging since the 1940s. It's small, sweaty, and alive, kind of like Paris itself. Or sip cocktails at Bar du Marché, where everyone looks like they've just stepped out of a black and white movie. Saint-Germain is the elegant rebel, timeless, confident, and probably judging your wine choice. Le Marais after midnight, the stylish heartbeat. Le Marais doesn't sleep. It just switches from espresso to espresso martinis. By day, it's boutiques and art galleries. By night, it's laughter spilling from wine bars and tiny clubs that feel like secret societies. Try La Perle, a classic hangout where creatives, locals, and the stylishly lost come to gossip. Or hit Candelaria, a speakeasy hidden behind a taco shop, because of course it is. Everywhere you turn, it's candlelight, conversation, and charisma. You don't need to dress up, but somehow everyone looks like they did. Le Marais at night is less about partying and more about being seen. It's social theater, and you're both the audience and the main act. Champs-Élysées, rooftop glam champagne with a view feeling bougie? Then it's time for a little sparkle on top. Head to L'Oiseau Blanc, Terraces Hotel, or Le Perchoir, where the cocktails come with skyline views and a side of I made it. This is the glam Paris nightlife, the one that makes you feel like you should be wearing designer even if you re-broke. Don't worry. No one can see your bank account from 8 stories up. Every rooftop has its moment, golden hour drinks, Eiffel Tower sparkles, and that one drunk guy trying to take a selfie that'll end in regret. It's all part of the show. Montmartre nights. The artist's hangover. Montmartre after dark is like stepping into a dream that's slightly tipsy. Wander the cobblestones, listen to buskers play Edith Piaf, and watch the Sacre Sieur glow like a pearl above the city. The vibe is part romantic, part nostalgic, and part, did I just join a bohemian cult? Pop into a consulate, a cafe older than your great-grandparents, or find Chez Ahmad, where locals still dance like it's 1953. This isn't a party scene, it's a slow burn. An unplanned evening that ends with red wine lips and someone reciting poetry at 2 a.m. Pagale, glitter, music, and mayhem. Ah yes, Pagale. The naughty twin of Montmartre. Here, the neon signs buzz louder than your hangover, and the night never ends when it should. You'll find the legendary Moulin Rouge, where feathers, sequins, and champagne flow like confetti. But beyond the tourists, there's a raw energy that feels real: music venues, dive bars, and cabarets that mix sleaze with sophistication. Try Le Carmen, A bar set in an old mansion that feels like Gatsby went to rehab and relapsed beautifully. Or Dirty Dick, the tiki bar that's way more fun than its name deserves to be. Pigale isn't about rules, it's about rhythm. Come for one drink, stay for 7, leave when the sky starts turning blue. The Latin Quarter, cheap drinks and student chaos. Not all nights have to be classy. Some just need to be fun. That's where the Latin Quarter comes in. Packed with students, travelers, and philosophers in denial, this area is buzzing every night of the week. You'll find cheap beer, loud laughter, and more street music than any Spotify playlist could handle. Grab a table at Le Piano Vache, order something that burns a little, and make friends with whoever sits next to you. This is where nights start with good intentions and end with philosophical debates about croissants. Late night strolls, Paris unplugged. If clubs aren't your thing, skip the noise and go for the Seine walk. Start at Notre Dame, cross to Isles St. Louis, and keep walking until the city softens around you. You'll see the reflections of bridges, the glow of old lanterns, and couples whispering in the dark. Paris isn't loud here. She just hums quietly, like she knows she's beautiful and doesn't need to prove it. It's the perfect kind of peace, the kind you can only find after midnight, when the world feels like it belongs just to you. How to survive a Paris night and still look chic doing it. Dress the part. Even if you're casual, make it intentional. Paris doesn't do sloppy. Start late. Locals don't even think about going out before 10 p.m. Never drink on an empty stomach. It's Paris. There's cheese everywhere. Don't rush. Nights here are meant to unfold, not be scheduled. Always look up. The architecture, the lights, the sky. The best part of Paris nightlife is what surrounds you. The night ends, the magic stays. Here's the thing about Paris after dark. You don't chase it, you let it happen. One moment you're sipping wine by the river. The next you're dancing in a bar you'll never find again. That's the spell. It's not about the place, it's about the feeling. When the sun finally rises and the city blushes pink, you realize something. You didn't just experience Paris nightlife, you became part of it. Paris neighborhoods, where you stay says who you are. Paris isn't just a city. It's a mood ring constantly shifting depending on where you are. Each neighborhood, or arrondissement if we're being fancy, has its own personality, soundtrack, and set of unwritten rules. You don't just visit Paris, you pick your version of it. So before you book that hotel or Airbnb, let's decode the city's districts like a true insider with sass, caffeine, and zero filter. First arrondissement, the classic old money, new photos. Welcome to the beating. Baroque heart of Paris. This is where the Louvre reigns supreme, where the Tuileries gardens stretch elegantly between museums and monuments, and where you'll constantly feel underdressed. Expect suits, art students, and tourists all pretending they belong. The cafes charge double, but come with postcard views. Stay here if you want your morning jog to go past royal architecture and your evening wine to be poured under golden lamplight. It's the Paris you dreamed of, beautiful, expensive, and totally worth it for the bragging rights. Le Marais, 3rd and 4th arrondissements, the trendy overachiever. If the first arrondissement is old money, Le Marais is the cool trust fund kid who went to art school and wears vintage Chanel ironically. Every corner is dripping in charm. Cobblestone streets, quirky boutiques, and falafel shops that have Michelin star level hype. It's equal parts historic and hipster. 17th century mansions turned into galleries, and old synagogues sharing the block with drag bars and concept stores. This is where fashion bloggers set up tripods and locals casually smoke outside art galleries. The vibe? Effortlessly curated. Stay here if you want to be in the center of everything without feeling like a tourist. Just remember to wear something that looks like you didn't try too hard, even though you absolutely did. Saint-Germain-des-Prés, 6th arrondissement, the Parisian daydream. Think poets, philosophers, and pastries. Saint-Germain is the Paris of smoky cafes and literary ghosts. Sartre, Hemingway, and Picasso used to haunt these streets, and honestly, it still feels like they never left. ULL find Café de Flore and Les Dumagos, where writers once argued about existentialism over espresso. Now it's influencers photographing cappuccinos with the same intensity. The vibe? Old school intellectual luxury, like an expensive perfume you can't quite describe. Stay here if you're into good conversation, antique bookstores, and long, flirty lunches that accidentally last 4 hours. Montmartre, 18th arrondissement, The bohemian dreamer, Montmartre, the hill that refuses to behave. This neighborhood is equal parts romantic, chaotic, and artsy AF. It's all narrow lanes, ivy-draped walls, and that sacred sea view that'll ruin every other skyline for you. But Montmartre isn't just a postcard. It's gritty, real, and has a rebellious streak. This is where Picasso, Dali, and the wild souls of the Belle Epoque once thrived. At night, buskers play love songs while you sip cheap wine on the steps. By day, painters set up their easels like it's still 1905. Stay here if you're a romantic mess, a dreamer, or someone who thrives on artistic chaos. Just wear comfy shoes, your thighs will hate those hills. Pigalle, the naughty neighbor slide a little down the hill from Montmartre, and boom, welcome to Pigalle, the wild child of Paris nightlife. Think neon lights, music clubs, and the Moulin Rouge spinning its red windmill since 1889. Pigalle is equal parts risk and rock and roll. You can sip craft cocktails one moment and stumble into a burlesque show the next. By day, it's cleaned up and cool. By night, it's a whole different movie, equal parts romance and recklessness. Stay here if your definition of Parisian culture involves glitter, guitars, and regretful 3 a.m. decisions. The Latin Quarter, 5th arrondissement. The smart rebel. Across the Seine, the Latin Quarter hums with youthful energy. This is where students, thinkers, and budget travelers collide, and somehow it works. You'll find ancient Roman ruins next to trendy bistros and narrow alleys that smell like crepes and history. Sorbonne University anchors the area, so expect backpackers discussing philosophy next to locals reading poetry on park benches. Stay here if you want character, conversation, and charm that doesn't cost a fortune. Bonus, you'll eat like royalty on a student budget. Champs-Élysées 8th arrondissement, the glam district. If Paris had a red carpet, this would be it. The Champs-Élysées is where luxury lives, flagship stores, polished sidewalks, and cafes that serve attitude with your espresso. By the time you reach the Arc de Triomphe, you'll either feel inspired or broke. Maybe both. Stay here if you want to live your best Emily in Paris fantasy with a dash of Gossip Girl. Expect tourists, high heels, and more selfies than sense. Canal Saint-Martin, 10th arrondissement, the chill one. This is where Parisians go when they're over tourists and just want to vibe. Canal Saint-Martin is all about lazy afternoons, cheap wine by the water, and picnic blankets instead of fine dining. It's youthful, creative, and slightly grungy in the best way. Think street art, thrift shops, and coffee served by baristas with ironic mustaches. Stay here if you're a traveler, not a tourist. Bring a bottle of rose. Dangle your feet over the edge and just be. La Défense, the corporate jungle. If you've ever wondered where Paris hides its skyscrapers, surprise, it's here. La Défense is sleek, modern, and wildly underrated. It's all glass towers, giant sculptures, and business suits. Not the romantic Paris, sure, but a glimpse of the city's future. At sunset, the skyline glows in metallic pinks, and suddenly it's kind of beautiful. Stay here if you're traveling for work or just love cityscapes and skyline views. Paris is basically a personality test with pastries. Where you stay says everything about your taste, your vibe, and how you want to remember the city. The real lesson. You can't go wrong. Here's the secret no one tells you. Every Paris neighborhood, even the boring ones, hides its own magic. A random cafe could serve the best espresso of your life. A quiet side street could lead to a view that stops you in your tracks. So pick your base, unpack your camera, and let the city shape your story. If you had as much fun watching as I had exploring, do me a huge favor and smash that subscribe button. We're just getting started, and there are so many more cities, more stories, and definitely more mayhem on the way. Drop a comment below and tell me where you want BoscoTravel to explore. Your suggestion might just be our next destination. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you on the next trip. Peace.